Okay, so this is the LOTUS water treatment system. When you receive your unit, you're actually going to get a filter that looks like this, a filter cap. We call this our processing carafe, where we actually put our tap water, and we also have a clean water carafe and lid that all come in the box together. So once you get your unit, what you're going to do is you're actually going to insert your filter. You'll notice that there's a lock code and an arrow on the filter. What you're going to do, and there's also these two tabs, you're going to pull the red cap out of this end and take the red cap off of this end, and you're going to insert it into the filter tower on the unit. Now these tabs on the bottom of the filter will actually insert into the unit, and once you feel them go down inside the filter, you're going to turn counterclockwise so that the filter locks in place. Once it's locked in place, the two arrows on this area will actually be locked in. Then you can put this cap on top of here. If the filter is not locked in, then the unit will supply you with symptoms of as if there was no power to the unit. So there would be no lights or anything actually on it. And then this filter cap is very, very tight to actually get onto the unit, so you have to make sure that you fit it over top. Okay? Then you would simply plug your unit in. You're going to take this carafe and you actually take it to your sink, and you would fill this with your tap water. There is a max fill line on this unit. If you overfill it, the water will actually run out of the bottom of the processing carafe. Once you get it filled, you put it in place on your rotary table here, just like that, where the handle is actually facing towards where the buttons are. Then what you need to do is you need to turn it and lock it in place, and you will actually feel it lock into place. Okay? Once that's done, then you simply need to press this button, which is your process button, and that will begin the process and start bubbling the unit. And what I'm going to do is just overview the buttons that are here. The first button is your process button, the second button is your manual dispense button, and the third button is your status indicator button. And this button tells you when your filter needs to be changed and what mode you're actually running in with the unit. Okay? So in some situations you'll notice that there's actually no bubbling happening right here. And what that means is that your processing carafe has a stuck check valve. And this can happen if your unit has actually sat for a long period of time. Included in your box is a little wee tiny key, and in most cases it will be attached to the bottom of your processing carafe. So what I'm going to do is all you need to do is stop the unit just like that, and underneath this unit there's actually a little black check valve. And in fact, because this one is full, you'll notice that it's actually up underneath where this little blue bubble is, right over here. So all you need to do is take this little key and give it a couple of presses, and that will loosen the check valve. And then all you need to do is put the unit back onto the base, just like that, lock it in place, just like that, and press the start button. And you'll actually start to see that the unit is now bubbling. So what we're doing currently is we're actually taking and pumping ozone directly into this processing carafe, which will actually sanitize and disinfect the water in there. So it'll kill things like E. coli, salmonella, bacteria. It'll also break down your cysts such as Cryptosporidium and Giardia. It takes out Staphylococcus, Listeria, and this process in the lake or in the municipal mode will actually take about 6 to 8 minutes. And once we get to the point where it stops bubbling, the next light on the unit, which is called your manual dispense light, will actually illuminate. Now, what's really important when you first take your unit out of the box is that you need to press and hold this manual dispense button for the first 4 cycles to condition your carbon block filter. Do not use the auto dispense button, which is actually located on the side of the unit. Like I said, do not use this button for the first 4 cycles. Use your press and hold your manual dispense button. Okay? You can go ahead and stop now too. Okay, you'll notice now that the unit has actually stopped processing, and this actual center light, it's lit up, ready for the dispense. So remember that your first 4 cycles must be dispensed manually. So what we're going to do is you're going to make sure that the pitcher is underneath your spout here, because the water is going to come out here, and you're going to press and hold this button. And you're going to notice that the water level is actually going down, but you're not seeing any water out, because what has to happen is you have to actually make the unit or make the filter really nice and wet. And you'll notice it is a sporadic pour during the first few cycles until you get that filter actually conditioned. So you're going to continue to, like I said, press and hold this until all the water is dispensed out of this pitcher and is now in this pitcher. Once this is done, you're going to dump out this water. You shouldn't drink this water at all during the first 4 cycles because the water in here actually has carbon dust in it. And that basically it's not good for you. It's part of the conditioning of the filter. So what you need to do is just dump this water out, and then we're going to refill the processing carafe, which is this carafe, and we're going to start the process again. And that's only for the first 4 cycles. Just remember that. And you'll notice once you keep holding on to this unit that once it detects that the water is all drained out of this processing carafe, it will actually shut itself off. Okay? So now what you would do is you would take and unlock this carafe, take it over to your sink, and actually refill it with water. Okay? Now, one of the things that I didn't show you earlier was there is 2 modes for this unit. So what you want to do, if you are on municipally treated water, then what you would do is, that's how it comes to you from the factory. So it's left, all these buttons will not be lit up when you plug it in. If you are on lake or well water mode, which requires about a 20-minute cycle so that we can have a higher kill rate of your potential, there's potential more for contaminants in your lake or well water than you're using municipal. So what you would do is fill this carafe. So I'm actually just going to take a bit of this water and I'm going to fill it up. So you would fill the carafe back up. And what you do is you would actually lock it in place. You're going to press and hold the process button. You'll notice that it bubbles and then it will stop bubbling. Once it stops, you have to press once, twice. And this status indicator light will now turn green. Okay? And sometimes it is a little bit hard to see in the daylight, so you may just need to cup it to make sure that it's actually lit up. If you need to change it back to your lake or well or to your municipal mode, once again, it's a simple process. Press and hold. It will stop bubbling, just like that, and press once. And then this light will actually go out. And then that changes between the 2 modes, so it's very simple. Once your unit is all conditioned after your 4 manual cycles, then all you need to do is actually put the carafe against the side of the unit. So I'm just going to fill this back up with water, and we'll run another cycle, and I'll show you how the carafe will automatically dispense. Once again, the unit has stopped processing. Our dispense light is actually lit up, and if you want to do an auto dispense with your unit, what you're going to do, there's actually a little curvature here in the unit where this carafe will actually fit against, and there's a button in there that has a micro switch that you can just press the unit against the side, and what will happen is it will actually start to dispense the water. So what you can do when you first lock this in place, you can put this pitcher right against the side of the unit. As soon as it's actually done bubbling, which is your ozonation process, then what it will do is will automatically go and dispense the water through the carbon block filter and put it into the actual pitcher on the side. Once it's done, this will automatically turn off and you have fresh, clean drinking water. And anytime, if you want to, you can actually pull the unit aside, like away from the side of the unit, and say you don't like cold water, or you want to just grab a glass of water when it's done, you can actually put a cup underneath this and you can actually press and hold it, and it will dispense out just a cup full of water. Once you're done with the amount of water that you want on the cup, you just release it, let it run on a bit, and then you have fresh, clean drinking water once again. Okay? So now, you're probably going to ask, what happens when this carbon block filter will actually expire at some point in time? And what you have to do at that point in time is actually change it. And this is what it will look like. And it is actually much heavier when it is full of water. But what will happen is the unit here, this status indicator light, when there's about 100 to 50 cycles left, it will actually start to flash yellow or an amber color. And then once this light has turned a solid yellow, the unit will not allow you to actually process or filter any more water at that time. You actually have to take it out. So what you would do at that point, it's quite simple. You have to remove this cap, just like this. Take it off. you're going to counterclockwise turn the filter, you're going to pull it out of here, and then what you're going to do is you're going to dispose of it, and then you're going to take your new filter and you're going to actually put it in. And once you've got that new filter inserted into the unit, then what you have to do is press and hold this center button, which is your dispense button, to take this status indicator light away from yellow. At that point, because this is a brand new filter, you actually have to recondition it again, and you would actually have to run the 4 manual cycles. Okay, so that's pretty well the water treatment system in a nutshell. The unit does have some diagnostic modes which allow us to tell us what's going on with the unit, but you don't need to know anything about those. There is an issue in some cases where you may experience that this light may be illuminated green and this light may be a solid red. That indicates, we call that a flashing green solid red. And what it's telling us is that your actual ozone generator has actually been flooded. And what that means is you may have had a problem with your actual processing carafe. Say that the little check valve in the bottom of the actual carafe fell out and it's actually been leaking water. And if it leaks water into the unit, then your ozone generator can get flooded and eventually you'll get a flashing green and a solid red. So what you would need to do in that situation, it'll continue to process for up to 13 minutes. And what you would do once it's done, if it hasn't rectified the flashing green solid red, you would unlock it and process the water again, and it would continue to flash flashing green solid red. Continue to do that until you actually clear the flooding of the ozone generator and the unit begins to work normally. Okay? So that's about it on the water treatment system.